Welcome to the Midnight Narrator, where every story holds a dark secret and every whisper tells a chilling truth. Tonight's unsettling tale, The Keepsake Box, explores a child's unnerving connection to a long-lost sibling and the horrifying revelation that changes everything. Sometimes the past refuses to stay buried and the truth can come back to haunt you. Are you ready to uncover the mystery that lies beneath the surface? I was a restricted child. I didn't have much freedom. I wasn't even allowed to go outside alone until I was 9. It wasn't entirely my guardian's fault. Before I was born, they had another child, Elias. They adored him, perhaps even more than they would me, I sometimes felt as a child. One day they were less vigilant and Elias disappeared. He was only 7. He simply vanished, never to be seen again. They ceased searching after 6 months, and a year later, I was born. They never found his remains, so I think a part of them always held on to hope. Or perhaps a part of them knew the truth. I never met him, but I always felt a strange connection to him. My guardians told me I used to frighten them when I was younger because I would talk to a specific corner of the attic. When they asked who I was speaking to, I would only say, older sibling. I was younger than 4 at the time. They hadn't told me about him and there was no other way I could have known. I have fragmented memories of him being part of my life. Perhaps it was a subconscious reaction to my overprotective upbringing, but I felt his presence. A cold spot in warm rooms, a whisper just beyond hearing. The first time I remember him speaking to me was when I was around 6. I was drawing in the sunroom, and Elias spoke to me. "What are you creating?" he asked. I felt a gentle tug on my hair, a cold yet familiar touch. I remember that sensation vividly. "A meadow with butterflies and a sun and a small fox," I replied, showing him my drawing. He frowned. "That doesn't look like a real meadow. To depict nature, you must experience it. Here, accompany me." He took my hand, his touch surprisingly warm, and led me outside. He gave me a small trowel I used to assist in the garden. "Dig there," he instructed, and I obeyed. I unearthed the usual, earthworms, pebbles, small roots, but I also uncovered something else, and Elias smiled, a sad, knowing smile, as I pulled it from the soil. It was a small wooden box. It was a dark color. It felt substantial, and there was definitely something inside, but the latch was rusted shut. "It's all right," Elias said. "We'll open it later." "Caleb," I heard my guardian's anxious voice. "Caleb." They saw me outside, and Elias quickly took the box and pushed me away. "Don't wander off like that." "I wasn't alone," I protested, looking back, but Elias was gone, the box vanishing with him. My guardian led me back inside and placed me in my room. "You must stay here. You mustn't go outside alone. Be safe." I never liked my room. Something felt off, even to a child. I never felt completely alone, and there was a sense of unease, a lingering chill that never quite dissipated. I particularly disliked the alcove. Whenever I needed something from it, I would close my eyes and reach in blindly. I just wanted to leave as quickly as possible. All the tension in the room seemed concentrated there, a heavy weight pressing down on me. One day, Elias materialized beside me, his form flickering slightly like a faulty light bulb. I startled. He looked at where I was staring, the alcove. "You fear that space, don't you?" he asked, and I nodded. He glanced at me, then back at the alcove. "Sometimes you must confront your fears," he said. He slowly walked toward the alcove and opened it. He gestured for me to join him. Trusting my older sibling, I moved closer. "Go inside." I closed my eyes and stepped in, and he closed the door behind me, leaving me in the dark alcove alone. I called for him, but he didn't answer. I curled up and cried. The feeling of dread was overwhelming. I felt completely isolated, cut off from the world. It was too quiet. Not a comforting quiet. A silence that resonated deep within me. The silence of a tomb. To comfort myself, I tapped on the walls. One section sounded different, hollow. I never liked that part of the alcove. It was the most unsettling. Eventually, my guardian called me for supper, and I found the courage to open the door. Elias was gone. No one was there. That night my guardians told me never to mention Elias again. It's for the best, they said, their voices strained, their eyes filled with a guilt I didn't understand then. That silenced me for a while. I don't remember much until I was 9. I don't know if this was the first time I'd interacted with him since the alcove incident, but it's the most vivid. This time he took me to my guardian's old computer and showed me various games. After some time, he told me to stop playing and start searching for information. Being a sheltered child, I didn't even know what a search engine was. He told me to search for Elias Thorne. "That's you," I remember saying. I clicked on the first result. 7-year-old Elias Thorne vanished from his rural home on June 5, 2012. He disappeared without a trace, with only his small wooden keepsake box missing from his room. Authorities have been unable to locate his guardians, Meredith and Samuel Thorne. He was last seen playing in the backyard. "Keepsake box?" I asked. "Like the one we found?" Without a word, he showed me the dark wooden box, its rusted latch now easily undone, as if his presence had somehow loosened it. He then handed me a small metal tool, a child's gardening trowel, identical to the one we'd used in the garden. "Open it, Caleb. Please." I did, and inside the box I'd discovered years ago were various items. Elias Thorne, a small, hand-drawn map of the backyard. Elias Thorne, a faded photograph of a smiling boy with dark hair. Personal effects that would have identified him. Why was it buried in our garden? I began to consider everything. My guardians almost never allowed me outside alone. The box was buried in the garden. My guardians had never contacted the authorities despite telling me they had searched. Elias was last seen playing in the backyard, the hollow space in my alcove. Elias must have sensed my understanding because his form flickered, becoming more transparent, his voice a mere whisper. "They were afraid," he whispered, his voice laced with a deep sadness. "They thought it was an accident. They panicked." He then showed me something else. A vision, a fleeting image in my mind's eye. A glimpse of my guardians, their faces contorted in fear and grief, hastily constructing a false wall within the alcove. A glimpse of Elias, small and still, being placed within. A heavy gardening tool, lying discarded nearby. "Go to your alcove, Caleb. You know what to do." Tears welled in my eyes as I took the tool and went to the alcove. I went to the door that had held my deepest fear, now knowing the truth. I found the hollow space and struck it with the tool. One thing they don't tell you about remains is that if they recontained in a dry, enclosed space, they don't fully decompose. They become desiccated. Elias's official cause of death was dehydration. He was alive when they placed him there. I never saw my guardians again. The authorities placed me with my aunt. I never saw Elias either. I missed him. The last time I saw him, I was in a vehicle being taken to my aunt's house. I looked back at my old home at my window and saw Elias. He was looking at me, a faint smile on his face, a look of peace I had never seen before. He waved goodbye, and I smiled back. Perhaps he could never leave that place, but he ensured I could. He was a remarkable older sibling. And that's the end of the Keepsake Box. A brother's love, twisted by betrayal and a chilling secret buried deep within the walls of a home. The truth can never stay hidden forever, and some mysteries, once uncovered, change us forever. If tonight's story left you questioning the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more haunting tales. Until next time, remember, the past always has a way of reaching out, and sometimes it's far closer than we think. This is the Midnight Narrator signing off, but always watching from the shadows.